Okay. Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to F1 25 World Champions Round 11 at Brazil. It is raining in qualifying as we have the Aston Martin of Avery, and we have a couple other cars now going out on their laps. Of course, we have short cars ending up the sprint, and then we have the 50% race here in Interlagos. So we already have a car out, and it's the Mercedes of Minty. Haas was retired in the pits, or has maybe played it on track. Let's see. No, they Minty banned it in the pit wall. Of course, the pit wall in Brazil is one that is really, really tricky at the end of the day. It's really tight.
I'm quiet, or I'm quiet.
Quiet.
I'm not quiet. I can actually hear myself.
So
The first driver to go over the line and set up time will be the kick Sauber of Jakub Miljarewski.
yeah,
So, he will hit burning his ERS as we now head down into turn one. He is on hot lap. Let's see. Small moment on the steering wheel. You have to be diligent on the power to make sure that you don't have a spin. This is one of the trickier sections of the track in the rain. He's already burned a lot of ERS and might pick up a slipstream from his teammate too. That's brilliant. And the first sector will be a 19.8. Let's see what others can do. As now we will have Aston Martin who has set, I believe, a 19.5. So he's hello. He is already nearly 4 tenths clear of the kick, as the kick Sauber slow on the power through Miguel, and as we now head soon into Zhengzhou, who is the kick Sauber driver. They should put a lot of ERS through here, and it's a 1 minute 7. Let's see what Iris you can do. It's a 1 minute 2. So this is already a better lap for the Aston Martin than it is for the kick Sauber. But let's see the time as we come to the line, and I think it will be a 1:18. Yes, it's 1:18.6, but the Aston Martin is already going to set a 1:17.8, nearly a second clear. And who else is now to go over the line and maybe start their lap? As here is the Ferrari, was now so it's interfered for you is a 1:19.7, 1.1 seconds off P2, as the Red Bull now is a 1:20.4. The McLaren has invalidated, and Lewis now says a 1:20.1. So we are in the we are in the 17s to 20s, I'd say average. But here we have what would the McLaren have done? It's 21.5. Of course, we saw the McLaren slowing down earlier. Here is the other Ferrari who hasn't burned a lot of ERS, but let's see what this Ferrari can do to the line. Has a lot of ERS to burn, 81%. He can't really burn 81% in a single straight, as 1:18.3 by the Alpine, and the Alpine will now go to P2. The Ferrari to P3 was a 1:19.9, as here is the McLaren who set the purple sector 1, as we now ride on board with the McLaren to Pinarina. Now, oh! Well, the grass in Interlagos is tricky, and you can see it there. Now he's fighting to control the car as we now head into Jung Chao corner. It's 129. It's another lap that's really poor. This is the Alpine Tampon, which I set to 139.3. Don't think that's the actual pace. So right now we have only one DNF, which is Minty, who crashed in the pits, and his teammate might soon start the lap, and Marcel is being impeded. He's getting a bit of dirty air as he rolled into the plateau, and now as we head into Zhengzhou, let's see what the Polish driver can do. It matches the time set by P1. Let's see if, where all the difference is made. I just think Zhengzhou to beat those boxes. It's really nice from the Red Bull. The TDR driver, the TDR Esport driver, now will head to the line, and the time is a 118 flat. Good time. Starts him into P2, not far off P1 as well. The V carb has been validated on its first run, and here's Philip, the only driver that you can actually view. Really slow on the power. It's a 117 free for Rishan. The kick Saber of Jacob Miraski now has a 174 and is not far back. Philip is on his lap as we now have a couple other drivers as the Kick Sauber now. Let's see what the Kick Sauber can do as the Alpine of Tampon has now had a 120.0 and a slot into P9. Here's Rocktalk. He uses the inside of the straight, and this lap will be P13, so he hasn't really improved it even with all that improvement. However, here is Nappy World. Has he improved? No, he hasn't. Who is on an improvement? So we have a couple drivers I think now starting their laps. As I think that was an improvement for Lewis. It was 195. As well, we have a driver crashed in turn one. The Red Bull has crashed into turn one, and here is the Alpine. I think I just avoided the Red Bull. I don't think the Alpine is on a lap. I'm not entirely sure. I think the Alpine is just on an improvement and has. As these two are now looking to be the fight for pause. Valentin is now coming out the pits. Is he at the wall? No, he's being really careful. As we now have green flags waving, and we have another DNF. Shoot A. As he's on the outlap. Right, so who is on the lap? This is the McLaren who's snapping his steering wheel. Really reluctant, it looks like to even get on the tower. That is not good, and I think he might be aborting this lap because he's heading into the pits. Who is on a lap? Who is on an actual lap? I think the Ferrari is, and is 71 fans per second up on his time. As we now head into the Ciudad del Lago, and soon into Floridura, which is the Ferrari. Still on the power down, shifting a little bit more than he would do if he was in the drive, but I think that will be an invalid, going a bit too wide while his teammate will move up into P7. Teddy Cooper is on his outlap as here is Marcel. He is coming to the line now. Where can he put himself in the Red Bull? In the it's P3. He's found a big improvement. However, it has not changed his position. Of course, these are the sprint qualifiers. Here is Bassi though. He's really fighting the car. You can see how much he's trying to fight the car, and he's looking good on the power downshift. And as we now head into Pinheirino and then into Vico de Pato, the Alpine is now setting towards the end of sector 2 and the end of the lap. Now, as we now head into Magulo, then Zhengzhou. How is this sector? Oh, it's a brilliant sector, that. Into Zhengzhou. Here comes the Alpine in its pink-blue livery, which is also its 2026 car. It's not aboard his lap. It looked like he was entering the pits at one stage. And moves up into P2, just off P1. So There was a Red Bull that, yeah, I think that Jack might have been the Red Bull that crashed in turn 3. As here is the driver in Aston Martin, who has been on pole so far, but he has a couple of challenges behind. Top 3, of course, is within a 10th, as Teddy Cooper just ahead of Marcel by not even a big amount, 22 thousandths of a second. They're onto the line here in Interlagos. Can you find an improvement on your time and maybe put a bit more assurance on you taking pole? Oh, he does that by 3 tenths, even though he was down on his time at the end of Sector 1. That has not really disturbed him, and we're nearly into the 16s. The British Boog is now on a lap that has to count. But by the Ferrari decided to go off track. Really good decision. Downshifts to fifth, fourth. That is not what I've seen it today. And yeah, nearly had a small spin and went on the, yeah, that is a lap down most likely. He went on the grass. You know how bad the grass can be in Interlagos, and kind of get your punishment for it. As I don't think he's on a lap. He is on a lap. And he's 1.5 tenths up on his time. As well as Teddy Cooper. Marcel is also on a lap and is now going to come to the end of it. Let's you, the Red Bull driver, who is in a decent position of P5. Can he find any improvement? Can he start ahead of Teddy Cooper? He can. He goes to P3. That's a really good lap by Marcel, winging him up to the top 3. On, of course, 5 lap old Inters. And who else do we have? We have, as there's an improvement, British Bugle, even in that moment, has just sent it to P6. That's a really good lap. He might even have a couple tenths in that. As now the Alpine is 2.5 tenths up. If he can find a bit more time, this might be the lap to send him to the top. Here is the Alpine driver racing in blue and pink, the classic Alpine colors, former Renault, and it is he's just missed out. 61 thousandths of a second separates him and Paul, and it's another close gap as drivers have now been on track for a really long time. As British Bugle is another spin, and I presume that's an ABS spin. You can see it right there. As there's a kick Sauber, I think that might be the kick Sauber of Jakob, yes, and I think Jakob might also have the Ferrari behind that. So Flip, maybe if he can find a bit more time, can slot ahead of a couple of them. Hold up. There's now a couple drivers on the pitch from New Inter, so they've been on the track for a pretty long amount of time. And let's see, though, what Jakob can do. He's in P4, which is a pretty decent position. Maybe can get top 10, which from when we started the start position would be really nice. And look how good he is on the power as now we head from the Curva de Grande on the straight here in Brazil. It's a slipstream and it's 70 milliseconds up on your stat. As we now head into the Ciudad del Lago, then into Ferradura. He's nearly out of ERS, but he's still up on his time. And now, as we now will head into Esched and Pignorino, it looks good for Jakob. Ooh, a small moment there, but I don't think it will affect you too much. As we now head into the park of Margula, then Zhengzhou, as now we march towards the end of the middle sector. It's 59.4. This should So it's a German to explore, but the top three, if they could have found a bit of their improvement, could have been way different. But that will be your grid today in the sprint.
Fed up with your shithouse retarded. Well, this was Esri Konsa today when Emmy Martinez went down to
Yeah, we have to leave the session.
went to the game today, but it's 1-0 to Aston Villa. And as you can see by the scoreline, it's getting late to the match as Villa are holding on to a 1-0 lead. And in this phase of the game, you always see game management tactics, a bit of time wasting going on just to run down the clock even more. But Esri Konsa was absolutely fuming at Martinez. So this is how the situation plays out. Emmy Martinez makes a fantastic stop. And in this freeze frame and also on the pitch from what it looked like in the stands, he looked absolutely fine, no injury. But then let me remind you of the scoreline and also the
Alright, we're just waiting on the invite now.
because Martinez proceeds to hold his back, and as you can see,
Waiting for the invite. We're waiting for the invite. Has come.
de Manchester. Incapié qui a pris l'initiative, le centre vers Bukayo Saka, Dorgu prolonge. Saka a manqué le ballon dans la surface. Saka en retrait de garde, reprise but. Zubimendi. Saliba. Oh attention, Brian Bemo. Bemo face à Raya, Bemo qui élimine, Bemo égalise. Fernandez, Dorgu, le double 1-2. Dorgu qui va retrouver le ballon. Dorgu frappe. Nouvel essai sur corner. Bukayo Saka, toujours bien rentrant. La déviation sauvée, Merino. Le ballon est-il rentré?
Right, is everyone else ready up? As we're waiting for everyone to have ready up. As you now see one ready, we're now waiting for a couple of. I think everything that has been put in place, it has been put in place. Because now I think we can ready. Um, yeah, and then right, we're not gonna soon begin the sprint. We just need a couple more people to ready up. It's my bed. It's my bed. It's raining again. Cool. All right. As now we have the formation lap of the Mercedes. I think Vinci has just left early. Yep. Guys, we have now 19 drivers and head back into last 16. Last time out. But I don't think it's a shock that we have the very on pole. I was really going to put like 4 tenths or a couple percent. That's a good because I think it's 4 or 5. Um, um, Alright, so there's a couple of cars that have been disqualified from the formation lap for most likely collisions, but if Harry did take pole by 4 tenths, he is, of course, the man to beat today. Mpachi lost the engine shot, which made it really hard for him to take pole position today. But let's see what happened in Brazil. As we're now gonna view our pole sitter now heading to the grid to start his park on the grid. Start to up. Now yes, park. Let's see how he parks. Okay, with the now last cars now entering the back of the grid, Philip, Jake Robo, Eggs are now entering the back of the grid and have parked. Right, now in Interlagos, 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, it's la, la. Oh, there's spins behind. There's spins behind. No, I can hear myself on the thing. As we have a red flag! We have a red flag already. There's been carnage at the start. And now we will have a red flag. And that was chaotic. Start was really chaotic. Some cars flipped. Some people could not drive. Yeah, two people flipped. We have lights out again on lap 3. It is lights out and away we go. Who gets a better start? Jacob or Viri? It will be a Viri again with leads into turn 1, but let's see if there's any chaos out back. We don't have any yellow flags into turn 1. As the Williams of Teddy Cooper is trying to get past Jacob, and I think he will get past Jacob as Jacob defends, and now we don't have a yellow flag as Minty and Knappy are the drivers after the session. Rockto has already moved up into P7 after starting a bit further back, and Marcel is also gaining the position and is now in P4 as we have 10 laps out of a sprint, and that will be a Williams sending it on the. Oh, Dracilian has a 10-second for gaining a place. As Teddy Cooper will try and get past Jakob, and Marcel is also joining them up there as well. Ivirisi leads by 1.2 seconds at the end of lap 3 when he had 9 laps to go in the Brazil sprint, and has also clocked in the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. British Boogers in P10, Rocked Oak P9, P8 it would be P7 and 8 Turbo Ferraris, P6 Bitch, P5 Batch C, P4 would be Marcel, dropped back a bit, P3 would be Teddy Cooper, and P2 would be Jacob Mischer. But let's see, Teddy Cooper's got close. Jacob will defend the corner outside, but the Williams just turns into a kick there from what I see. As we head Williams again now will send it, and that could have ended horribly, and who gets a switch back as the kick looks to be forced wide? It will be the Williams with a brave move, which puts him into P2. And Marcel's not going to be crowding them as well. Let's see what they can do now. As you now head out of Zhengzhou, as you now head into Zhengzhou's corner, the gap is now 2.4 seconds. 8 laps to go in this sprint race. So 1:18.2 is now the new fastest lap done by Irishi, as now Lewis is in P11. There's a couple drivers that are close to making a move. Marcel's trying to get close to the kick Sauer of Jakub. Now here's British Bongo, and there's as well Valentine, which is close to the back of that Ferrari. How close can Yuki get on the straight? He's just that far back. Iviri is the driver to beat, as the Williams is getting a little bit of time on him through these corners. The gap is now decreased by a little bit, and it's actually decreasing, I'd say, by a bit. The gap has went from 2.4, 2.5 to now 2.1 to now 1.9. Let's see what can happen, as Jakub has gapped Marshall, and Basin is now on the tail of Marshall. As let's see what can happen. Straight line speed, however, of the Aston Martin is really good. Look, gaining a lot of time on the straight, and it's another fast lap. But Cooper now sets a better faster lap by a huge margin here in Brazil. As everyone on the Inters, Jakob, let's see what he can do as he's trying to high. Marshall P4 is trying to get the same pace as the Kick Sauber and Teddy Cooper, trying to get everlastingly closer to the Aston Martin. Bit further back than it was last lap, but maybe can still happen. Maybe something can still happen. Jakob 1.1 seconds back, 1.2. The gap has stayed quite consistent. Marcel's trying to get closer on the kick. As here is Marcel as Madura. We have yellow flags. I think that's at the back. Would it be as small moment there for the kick? Cost him some time. I think it might have been the Alpine, because Alpine has lost a lot of time and has lost the position. Let's see. And is having small problems as there's no visible wing damage. Teddy Cooper is now even closer to P1, as we don't have long left here in this Brazil sprint. Jakub and Marcel, they're fighting for the top three. Who can stay ahead? It's the kick. Sauber stays ahead, but you can see the pressure that's now being applied by the Red Bull driver as he looked for it. He tried to fake it, and it's a slow exit, however, from the kick. Sauber, however, he still will stay ahead of the Red Bull. Teddy Cooper is gained a bit more time on him, gained a bit more time to P1 as well. And Jakob is being put under even more pressure by the Red Bull. Seems to have as well some decent straight line speed. The British Blue has now been overtaken by Lewis. Caution is sector 2, and that will be, I think, Rockdog, and it is Rockdog. Rockdog, who had a moment, I suppose he dropped a couple positions. Now we focus on the battle for P3. The Red Bull driver is close, and look how much time he's gaining in the straight. It's a brand new fastest lap for Rishi. He managed to maintain the gap, and now can he go on the outside of the turn? Can he stick with it? There's a small slide from the kick Sauber, which might give an opportunity for Marcel to make the move, but let's see, as now we head on straight soon into the Seattle Lago. The kick Sauber still defends from Marcel, who's now gonna have a good line out of the corner, but will still have to stay behind for another lap. What's that? Anyways, warning. 2 warnings, could be collision warnings. Marcel has 2 warnings. Warning. And then Teddy's clean. Teddy and the gap between him and her VCS stayed constant. We now put our foot on the power. Now we're heading towards the end of sector 2 and now towards start sector 3. We now have the Red Bull and the kick battling at it. He's getting close, or how close can you get? The inside line will be defended again, but now he's gonna switch to the inside line. However, it's another defensive intervention. There's contact between them, and it was inevitable. The kicks were being really slow on braking, in my opinion. As now he will have another run on the kick driver. However, there's spin at the back, which I think can only be Tampon, and I think maybe a rock soak as well. As we now head towards Sector 2, Tampon might just retire from this session. And it does. And now Marcel's close again as Black Boy now is free as. Rishi has gained a bit more time and is drifting all over the track, and we will soon have 3 laps left of the sprint, and 3 laps, well 3.3 laps basically. Jake Grobas retired on track, but maybe crashed, and he has crashed. And thinking that Marcel would like to have the move for the podium position. He has the ERS, he needs to I do not really know, because this guy through the corners, like sometimes he's just driving really slowly. But that would be brilliant for Marcel, who has to try and stick with this. And now we'll have the inside. I don't know. Now we'll have the outside line. We're not into the Ciudad del Lago. Still will be the kick Sauber, but I don't know if Marcel should be investigated for the collision. Like, at the same time, considering on the braking, this guy is really slow. Valentine also gets free as Rockdog retires from the session in the pit lane. And here's Ravisi. Gaining time. Here is the battle again for P3. It's only actual battles are happening right now. Of course, Eggs gained a couple positions too. Might try to make a couple moves here and there. As we have a V-Carb in the wall of British Bugu. Jacob is defending like a champ as he also retires on track. This guy's having like a champa. His braking is pretty suspicious. However, Marcel will look at this chance again. However, I think this time around he will be too far back. Or is he? Oh! 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 Whoa! 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 What have I just seen, mate? Jakub, that's dodgy. Now I think Marcel might try and come back at the kick, but that was something. I think one of them might have picked up a bit of front wing damage. What the? Oh my. What the hell is happening? As now Marcel might have a run on the kick. Can he send it? Looked for it. Looked for that Teddy Cooper move. What happened there? What happened at turn 1 and then at turn 5? What happened there? That was crazy. As now, small slip of the wheel. Both are now burning their ERS. One is quicker in the street than the other. However, for the corners, one is again quicker, and this one is gonna get a small Sifshan is getting closer. Will he send it towards the inside? No, but he will look for the outside move. And again, how much better Marcel is on traction than Jakob, but this time, unlike last time, they get through cleanly. And ooh, small moment there for Marcel. Can he send it? He is again too far back. He had many chances. Time has run out unless he can get the better traction. Even though he does, I think it won't be enough. Look at the traction that the Red Bull's gotten, and will now look for the move. We'll have to stay back, but that was some brilliant traction that the Red Bull had got. Uh, as we now head to look at our winner today, Irishi, who has dominated the sprint from lap 1, will now take victory. Teddy Cooper to take P2, and then Jakob to take P3 on. Well, yeah, we'll take P3 for him. It will be a podium as Marshall 4 tenths back, Bitch P5 just ahead of Bashi, and now we have Fierce in P7. P8 is Valentine. P9 would be Lewis. P10 would be Eggs. No, it was going to speed because of the time penalty. And here is Eggs, who was going to take a P10. P11 for being a black boy. All I can say that is extremely bad. Drakiel and P12 and Phil will get the P13.
Right. Waiting for the invite. Got the invite?
struggling with your confidence. Go out your way in the vibe is feeling stronger with small turn to a friendship turn to a bond and that bond will never be broken, the love will never be lost. And when brotherhood comes first, then the line will never be crossed. Established on our own when that line had to be drawn, and that line is what we reach. So remember me when I'm gone. Bonus icon pick bonus of open random stuff tonight. Petit, yay! My Chloe, yay! And Roberto Carlos. I mean, not bad, guys. Ooh, Cece, she's getting SBC soon, isn't she? Not bad. Oh no, oh no, oh no.
Hello. 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 Yo.
almost invalidated.
Well, I'm bored too, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Um, Minty is on spectate, and he has to get off of spectate, and we're waiting for him to get off of spectate. If by 15 minutes he's not off spectate, I'll just leave. It's dry. Alright, the formation lap is underway in Interlagos. A 36 lap race to decide who wins today in Brazil. It's going to be, I think, an entertaining one with Steady Cooper, Jacob Nafrarsky all having a chance. Marcel as well is in it. Let's see, you can have a one stop and pit lap 17, or you can have up to two stop, which is not as recommended, but it can still work. As Drake, Dr. Kilian has been disqualified. I think it's because he has not moved off the grid. As we're gonna go car racing in Brazil. Right, Aston Martin is now parking on the grid, ready to start the race. 36 laps it will be around Interlagos here in Sao Paulo. We will have one light, two lights, three lights, four lights, five lights. It is lights out and away we go. Good start for, I'd say, for the Aston Martin again. Vitch is overtaking Bastia. There's a couple of movements as Marcel might go to tackle up, and that's Minty. That's Tampon again, who have been involved in something. But here's Teddy Cooper has, I think, gotten a small run on Aston Martin. However, he's not close enough to really challenge Aston Martin. As now we head into oh, British Bulgaria has a tennis or collision with Valentine. Marcel now is pressurizing the kick. There's contact between them again. Through goes Bashi. Brilliant from them two as now. Iviri now is P1 at the end of lap 1. As he's had a moment on ABS. Teddy Cooper takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Brilliant move by Teddy Cooper to take the lead of this Grand Prix, as we still have a couple drivers I think can challenge today.